Left off, I believe I was taping up. I spent a good part of the week taping. That was probably the most miserable job. You actually become a connoisseur of tapes after a while. Which ones are good, which ones are junk. What happened was I needed a new windshield. So I had to pull the windshield out yesterday and then paint after fixing all the rust. But I wanted to get the windshield in today because I have a short window. I need to get the van inspected next week, and if I couldn't get the windshield in, I was gonna have to put a new one in Monday. Or I mean, have somebody put it in. It's a little out of order. But I had to paint the van today because I had a window of opportunity. First, I want to talk about the paint. Not too much though. Do your homework on this. There are lots of different types of paints. The one used most today is urethane enamel, and that is usually a two-stage paint where you put on the base coat and the clear coat. All your new cars are like that, and you can do your Vanagon if you want to do that. And then the other way is the acrylic enamel, which is what I chose. Acrylic enamel because it's a lot cheaper, number one, and number two, it's nowhere near as deadly. And then you're going to find a bunch of people arguing back and forth what's better, blah 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 blah. Well, that's what I chose. You'll need a reducer. I got a fast reducer. I got a 60 to 70 degree reducer because that's the temperature I knew I'd be painting in. Actually a little over 70 today. And also I have a hardener. And you mix these in a certain ratio. And most paints are going to have a spec sheet. Now I ordered all mine from TCP Global. I did realize that shipping from California was quite expensive. So if you can source your paints locally, you might make out pretty well, even if it's cheaper on the internet. Trust me, to send a couple gallons of liquid through the mail that's hazardous is not the most efficient way. What else do I have? My lacquer thinner. I use that for cleaning everything up. And if you want to take a moment to talk about primers, the primer you get in stores is a lacquer. It dries really fast. They say not to use this anymore, even though they've been using it for 100 years. It dries really fast. I put this a lot over the bodywork. They do recommend today that you use a 2K primer. Normally the 2K primer is, you mix it just like the paint, but it is available in these special cans that you can press the bottom and shake. Now, these are very expensive. They're about $20 a can. I just chose to go this route just to make things easier. That's what I use. That was the gray. I did not have availability to get a red of this because it would have been a good idea if I had used a red primer. It's always best to match your primer color to your paint color, but I didn't have that opportunity. Another solvent I used, remember this one, I ended up using almost all this pre-prep. I kept using it over and over again. This stuff is fantastic. It will dissolve immediately, this stuff, so careful about that. Here is another solvent that a lot of people use while they're painting. I don't recommend a whole lot of it because the paint may look better than it actually is. Well, this is the paint kit I bought. I got this from Home Depot. One thing it does come with two guns, and then it comes with the pressure regulators. You'll need these. So if you find a kit that has those, if you don't have them, you're gonna have to buy them because you need to keep a constant pressure at the gun. And one thing is very important is that your compressor can keep up with the gun. Mine can't. I learned that the hard way by the fact that I would start painting on the passenger side, and it would look pretty good. And I'd get to the driver's side, and it wouldn't look very good. I kept thinking there was something wrong with the gun, kept thinking over and over what was going on, but I finally figured out it was because my compressor wasn't keeping up. I figured out that if I just painted a little bit and stopped, I could do it. You should have a really good compressor though. This removes moisture from the air coming from the compressor. You really need one of these. I painted without one when I did the front before I put the window in, and it's all fisheye, and that's due to having contaminants like water in your lines. So I'm gonna probably have to redo part of the front again one day. So much for that. But I did buy this, and everything worked out. I was at Harbor Freight today, and they have all this masking paper at the front counter. You might want to pick some of that up. It's free. I'm doing one last check of my taping job. These corners are really hard. So lessons learned, number one, if you can, learn to spray from somebody in person, if you can. I mean, it's one of those things that, even though you can see it in books and videos and stuff, it's really helps to have somebody show you. I wish I had that opportunity. Number two, do the body work while the van is shining like this. I did all the rust, but I didn't do any of the dings or only one dent while it was all sanded, and I can't see the little dings. So there are a few dings left. There's actually a little dent in the back that I missed completely. Another thing I would do next time is probably source the paint locally. Shipping was just a killer, and that was really expensive. Another thing, learn about primers. There are a lot of different types of primers. Ones that you use to build polyesters that you build, and the lacquers, and the 2K urethanes. There's just a lot to learn with those. So I wish I'd done my homework on that more than the paints, because I already had chosen I was going to use acrylic enamel quite a while ago. What else? Masking tape. Trust me, there's a big difference in quality, different masking tapes. So pay the money on that, and you're going to use a lot of it. And if somebody says they want $4,000 to paint your van, give it to them. It's worth it. Well, that's it. All set. Came out pretty well. I have a little bit more, quite a bit more orange peel than I'd like. So some buffing and a little sanding is in my future. Not sure when I'm going to do that. All kinds of different opinions on when you can buff and sand acrylic enamel. So what are the questions people ask me? Oh, how much did it cost? Probably, I want to say around $600, probably more. That includes like the guns and the masks and things like that. The paint itself was probably like $200. How much paint did I use? About 3/4 of a gallon. So looks like you got to buy a gallon. Can't buy 3/4. It probably costs more than buying a gallon. And if you're a real cheapskate, you might get away with half a gallon. If you can just do 2 coats and not paint all the paper I did. I'm going to star in my next movie, Replacing the Clutch. Come on over and put this clutch in my van. And I will film you putting the clutch in the van. And you'll be famous. I'll even spray paint in the van for you. Okay, thanks a lot everybody. See you next time.